Hey everyone, it's Justin. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what I would consider to be um, the most important aspect in my personal experience in terms of being able to make better decisions in your day-to-day life. And if you were to ask me what I think the biggest impacting factors on being able to make choices and decisions, it's trust. In this life, you need to be able to trust yourself. That is incredibly important, and without that, you're going to be miserable. And I see it all the time, especially when things are thrust upon us that we don't necessarily want to deal with or don't necessarily want to face. And life's throwing us curveballs all the time. It always happens. It's unavoidable. That's just a part of life. And if you want to be able to navigate these times, you've got to learn to trust yourself more. And the more you can trust yourself, the better decisions and choices you can make. And even earlier today, I had one of my friends, she was in crisis mode because she was facing a circumstance and she wasn't sure what to do, and she wanted out and she wanted to leave, but she was so afraid of letting go and leaving her comfortable, secure box that she was really struggling. She was really having a hard time with it. And how many of us face that in our day-to-day lives? Like, I know I do. I'm sure, like, we all know what that's like, to be put in a situation where we're unhappy, things don't seem to be going our way, it's not, what we thought it was going to be, and now we want out. But the thought of leaving is absolutely terrifying, because then what? You don't have that same level of comfort with the unknown. And I would say the majority of people live in a situation where they feel trapped and afraid, and they don't want to change, but they're also really unhappy with their current situation in life. And in order to change and find that happiness, that joy, it's challenging. It's not easy, but it's possible. And the way to do that is by stepping into the unknown, moving to a space you've never been to before, or maybe a place you've never been to before. And it takes being able to step out of your comfort zone before you can truly realize what you're actually capable of. And the more you take a step, the further you go, the bigger your bubble gets. And the bigger your bubble gets, the more you're able to trust yourself. Because look, now you have got all this space to move around in this huge bubble, and you're like, whoa, where did all that come from? Instead of being like this all the time, like you're closed off, you're shut down, and you just, you're killing yourself. Don't do that. You're an awesome person. We want you to be happy. We want you to feel alive, to enjoy your life. You deserve to live a life that you love living. You deserve to have joy and happiness and peace of mind. And you can have it if you want. But it's going to take trust. You have to trust yourself. If you're about to go into a meeting with your boss and your chest is like, and your heart's like, oh my God, no, and you're terrified, you don't want to do it, and it's like, you feel like you're suffocating from the inside out, you know that maybe that's not a situation you should be in. And your body and your heart is telling you, leave, like, don't be here, this is not for you. And you're like, your mind's like, this is for you, you have to do this, you have to hold on to this. If you don't, your life's going to be over, because who knows what's going to happen if you lose this thing that you're already comfortable with. And you have to be willing to let go of what's comfortable and do what's necessary to live the life you want to live. It's not always going to be easy. It's probably going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth doing. That gives you every reason to go out and do it, to prove to yourself that you are capable of doing anything. Believe in yourself and have the courage to trust yourself, and you can do anything. It's true. And maybe you're not ready to just take the leap yet. And that's okay, because trust takes time. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to, the movies always make us think that some huge event has to happen and we're going to radically transform our lives and win the lottery and everything's going to be perfect. And it's not necessarily the way things work, although it can happen. But for a lot of us, it's a slower, more gradual process, step by step by step. And it takes time, and that's totally okay. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. And if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Just accept it and move on. A big part of learning to trust yourself is learning to forgive yourself for all the past mistakes you've made. That's a huge part of it. And when you can let go and say, okay, that thing happened and I tried my best and it didn't work out, and that's okay. And now I'm going to move on and take what I've learned and use it in different ways in my life and grow and change and evolve. And that's awesome. Do that. And the more you're willing to embrace who you are and stop letting everything else control you and tell you how to be or who you should be or what you should be, the happier you're going to be. You're going to be able to relax because you're like, oh wow, I can actually just be me for once and not have to try and be everyone else. And it's awesome. Embrace that. And the more you come into that, the better you're going to be able to make choices for yourself that not only benefit you, that benefit everyone else as well. The more you can help yourself, the more you can help others. And what would it be like if instead of, your normal thought process that's currently potentially limiting you or holding you back, you instead said, gee, if I was going to do something, what could I do that would be for the highest good for me and for all beings? What could I do? And ask yourself that question. And maybe you don't have the answer yet, and that's totally okay. And maybe you don't even want to answer it, and that's okay too. It's just something to think about. But know that trust is all about forgiveness and slowly and steadily learning more about yourself. Because the more you learn about yourself, the more you begin to understand yourself and how you work and what works for you and what doesn't work for you, the more you can trust yourself and the more you can let go of this need to always be trying to please other people or, feel like you get lost in the sea of life that's around you. And it doesn't always have to be so chaotic. It can be peaceful, it can be loving, it can be joyful. But all of that starts when you begin to trust. Have an awesome day, guys. And if you remember one thing from this video, let it be this: love fiercely.